Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Flip Flop Family podcast. I'm Zylene.
My name is Benjamin.
We really hope that you are having an amazing summer holidays. I actually think that we've been quite lucky in London. The weather's been pretty good, no?
It's been good. And we've had a couple of times where we've got a bit worried thinking it's going to rain, but it hasn't. It's held it together. So luckily, we've been all good.
As always, you just can't rely on the actual weather forecast and you just kind of got to play it by ear each day and make plans.
Exactly.
So we're kind of 4 weeks in now to the kids' summer holidays, only 2 weeks left. And I'm feeling pretty good about the way that we've spent our holiday. I don't know if you guys have had a holiday, if you've been abroad. If you have, that's lovely. We were kind of toing and froing with the idea, but in the end decided just to make the most of the British summer. And I feel like we really have. We've done actually so much with the kids this summer.
I mean, in London, you can do so much. I feel like obviously we live in London and we don't really go out as much as we can, but there is like so much that you can do as a family in London, so you need to utilize that. And if it's the holidays and if you're not going to go away anywhere, it's a good idea to get some ideas about what you can do in London.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, there is still 2 weeks left of the summer, so there is still loads of time to actually do stuff, to get the kids out, or if you don't have kids, even just getting yourself out into London and just kind of even just having an alfresco lunch. I feel like it does wonders for you. Like this week, Zachariah, our youngest, went on camp, so we didn't have him for the whole weekend, and it felt really strange in the house, only having one child again.
I kind of really missed him, and I kind of, it was almost a window into the future as to how things are going to go when he gets older. And he goes off to uni and he starts to kind of drift away a little bit, which is only natural. It's completely fine. But I do have these little moments where I'm like, oh my God, he's getting bigger now and he's going to go one day. Don't go, my son, please, no. And it's quite sad. But yeah, so he was away for 3 days and he came back today. And let's just say he was not in a very talkative mood because he was so tired.
When the kids go on these camps, they do so much, literally from like 6 a.m. to I think 11 p.m. at night. And then they stay up and have midnight snacks that when they come back, they can't speak. They've lost their voices. Their lips are chapped. They're just like, they need almost like another 3 days to recover. But it's really lovely that they go and they have fun. And of course, we're really happy that our children are really independent. But what we have tried to do over the last 2 weekends is really spend quality time with just one child, because obviously our eldest is Emiliana, so we did have 3 years when it was just her, but since Zach came along it hasn't been just her, and I've actually really enjoyed this weekend just spending time with one child.
Yeah, I feel the kind of dynamics is a lot more different when it's just one child. I feel like you can kind of, I guess they act a little bit different because they haven't got their little brother or their older sister around, so they act a bit different. And the fact that obviously with Emiliana we've taken her phone away a little bit, so we have a bit more of her as well.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to have that time with her and just to do stuff like go out as like a three, kind of couple and go out, like a throuple and just go and do stuff. And I feel like we get a different Emiliana.
Totally. A more mature version, but at the same time, quite a silly version too.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like at times I feel like she's really mature and we could do stuff like almost feel like we're three buddies, going out. Three buddies. But at other times I see that really still that kiddie playful side of her, which sometimes we don't see when she's always the elder sibling.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed actually seeing the dynamic between you and Emiliana while Zach's not been away, because they're not always bickering. You haven't had to play the disciplinarian as much, and you've been more of like the fun dad again with Emiliana, and it's been really cute seeing you guys like having so much fun together.
It's kind of difficult being a dad sometimes, because I feel like when you've got a teenage daughter, you have to sometimes discipline her, and then I feel like it kind of causes a bit of a gap between you and them. And obviously now we've had some issues with her phone and being on it a bit too much and stuff like that, and I feel like obviously I've had to take that away from her, and I just feel like it's kind of caused a bit of a gap. But being with her over the weekend, over this time, and like not having Zach. It's been nice, and I feel like we had a bit of a glimpse of the older Miliana as well.
Yeah, and I think you've really touched on something that's really important there. And, as parents, we do have to discipline our kids, but we also want to be their friend, and we don't want them to kind of keep things from us and not tell us stuff. And we don't want to have like a gap. We want to be as close as possible with our children. And I think particularly for a father, I think like a father's presence in a daughter's life is so important because it just gives them that kind of strong sense of safety, stability, and most importantly, self-worth. Like her knowing that she's loved and valued like unconditionally by a dad. Obviously a mum's important too, but I just feel like for a daughter, that kind of knowing that from a dad really, that kind of unconditional love really helps to build confidence. And I think it can be quite hard when you have to discipline your daughter all the time for them to always feel that.
Yeah. Luckily, she's not a bad kid. So she does understand right from wrong. And she knows that we have boundaries and we have rules. So we don't have to do too much with her. But I think the phone is, like in general, I think it's a big deal now with kids. And I think that they do get too hooked on their phones and they want to go onto social media too much, or they love their WhatsApp and they want to find out what their friends are saying. And so it can be a bit too much. So like, as long as you lay down black and white rules, then as long as they know their, your expectations, I think it's all good. But if you have a bit of a grey area where you're like, oh, you can use it one day and like the next day you can't use it, then I think it sends them like signals that are not quite right. So if you're gonna set down boundaries, make sure they're black and white and the kid understands it.
Yeah, I mean, you're always quite good with that. You tend to kind of leave the kind of phone situation to me, and I fail at it all the time because Emiliana gets it and then I'm like, oh, I don't know, she has it. But, I feel like we do touch on phone use and tech a lot in our podcast because I guess we do have a teenage daughter, and unfortunately tech is a big part of their lives. But we've really been able to I think park it over the summer, and we've just had a really lovely time. So it was our wedding anniversary on Friday, the day that Zach went on camp, and we celebrated 16 years of marriage, which I cannot believe still.
How have you not actually killed me yet? How am I still alive?
And how have you put up with me?
I just don't know how you put up with me. Some of the things I do and I say, and I'm like, I must be like driving you round the bend. I don't get it.
I mean, you do drive me round the bend at times, but at the same time, nobody's perfect. And I think I drive you round the bend sometimes. But I think the most important thing is that there is a balance with us, and I think if you can just be transparent in a relationship and sort of your partner always knows how you're feeling, and if you're also showing enough affection and having enough fun with each other, that outweighs like the bickering and the little arguments that you might have as a couple. And 16 years strong, and I hope with the grace of God that continues for many more years to come.
Amen, brother.
And just touching again on that sort of dynamic and relationship for a father and a daughter, I also think it's great for Emiliana to see like our relationship, because I think that daughters in particular really model their future partner relationships based on how they see their mums and dads together. And it was really funny on our anniversary because we were driving trying to find parking, and me and Ben had a little Barney in the car because I was telling him to go in one direction and he had to suddenly change, and it was all a bit long. And then 2 minutes later we were on the train. I was like, babe, I love you so much, happy anniversary. And she's like, guys, 2 minutes ago you just had an argument in the car. But it's but I actually just think, do you know what, that's very normal. Like, I don't know, maybe it isn't normal. You don't always have a glimpse into everybody's relationships, and with the way that social media is, it can always portray this perfect life that everybody has, perfect relationship, and nobody ever has arguments and nobody is ever in the doghouse. But I hope that everybody does know that I don't think is real, and everybody has arguments and everybody, goes through up and downs in relationships. And I think the most important thing is the way that you handle it and the way that you tackle it. And I think although you don't ever want to have massive arguments like shouting matches in front of your children, if that is something that happens in your house, at the same time, I think it's important for them to see, when things do go wrong and how you tackle it, and seeing the other person apologizing. Again, so important for children to see, you apologizing, so that they also understand about accountability.
Yeah. I mean, it comes back to having a challenge in life, really. When you come up against a challenge, it's like important that your kids kind of see that you're going through a challenge and you're able to work things out and try and find a way out of it. And I think parents are the perfect example of how to teach a child, something. I mean, it could be anything, but you have the responsibility to show them how to live their lives and how to do things. And I think that it is a very good point that you make, that it's important that they see you going through a tough time, because that's just how it is in life. But then you find a way out of it.
Yeah, you recover from that and you're able to get on with your day. So our day actually included, we were umming and ahhing what to do. We wanted to do something with Emiliana, and she really wanted to ride those Lime bikes in central London. I was being a bit silly, and I didn't realize that the Lime bikes were electric. I thought they were all just standard bikes, but actually it's the Boris bikes, the Santander ones, that are standard bicycles, but the Lime ones have like an electric thing on it, which basically helps you to go faster. And she just wanted to ride around London, and we thought that would be quite a fun thing, especially because we didn't have Zach and Emiliana's a bit older. So we went into London, and Ben sort of figured out how to download the app and basically check out a bike, and he was loving it. He was going around and he was, oh my god, this is so cool, it's so fast.
Fun. It's a shame we couldn't actually all get one, but I only had it for about like 10 minutes. But you start pedaling on it, and then because it's like part electric, the bike just kind of kicks in. I think it's got a small motor in the front of the bike or on the side or whatever, and it just kind of kicks in, and then you go like even faster. It's great. So yeah, if you ever want to go into London and get a bike, get a Lime bike, and they're lots of fun.
So Emiliana, we got her on the bike to see how she could manage, and she started riding, and the road was so wide, and she was like, I can ride, but I just can't turn. We were like, Emiliana, the road is really wide, but I think because it has the sort of electric on it, you do need some space to get used to it.
Yeah.
And also we didn't feel that comfortable because we weren't prepared and we didn't bring a helmet. So we abandoned the Lime bike idea, and we decided just to go and have a little walk around Regent's Park. And it was so funny because we were in the park, and like father, like daughter, or is it the other way around? Yeah, no, like father, like daughter. As soon as we get into the park, we'd barely been in central London for like 30 minutes. And both of them look at me and they're like, oh, are we going for lunch now? And it's like, oh my gosh, I've literally come to central London, literally dressed as a tourist. I'm looking at the Regent's Park map, figuring out what the day is going to entail. And all Ben and Emiliana want to do is eat.
I know, but I think your idea was to go in there and to go look at flowers and to walk around the park, and I guess
and the Japanese garden
and do stuff like that. And we were just hungry, so we were like, we've come here now, like just if you can just give us some food, then we're yours for the next hour or two.
I felt like I was literally out with two teenagers. It was really quite funny, and Emiliana was really enjoying like the banter between the two. But luckily I did bring snacks, so we managed to set up and have some snacks, and then we did some boating, which I surprisingly really enjoyed. I thought it'd be a bit boring, but I really enjoyed you and Emiliana sort of riding me around the little lake.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
So if you are looking for a little thing to do in the Royal Parks, Hyde Park and Regent's Park, you can hire out the little boats. I think it's roughly between like £5 and £10 for 30 minutes for a child and for an adult. And yeah, it's just really lovely just to kind of spend some time together. You can't really go very far, but just being on the lake, especially if the weather is nice, is really, really nice.
So another really cool thing to do as a family that we done over the past week or two was we went roller skating in Brent Cross. So we live near Brent Cross, and just outside Brent Cross they had this outdoor roller skating kind of like floor with like a kind of cover type thing, which was really great. I'm not sure how much it cost. How much was it?
It was actually quite cheap. It was only £5 each.
£5, and that includes you hiring some roller skates too as well. And they give you like elbow pads and some knee pads and a helmet if you're a child.
Yes.
And so you get all the safety equipment too as well. So I've not really roller skated I don't think I actually roller skated as a kid as well. So
Were you a skateboard person?
I was a skateboard person, and I had went ice skating a few times too as well. So I wasn't sure how I was going to be. So anyway, got in there, and kids got padded up and got their roller skates on and got onto the floor. And I think we all took to it quite quickly, apart from Zach. Zach kept on falling down quite a lot and getting quite frustrated because you know, you're like trying to balance yourself and you're trying to go around, but you just keep on falling. And he was falling right on his bum, poor guy.
He was like a comedy. He was falling like, you know how
And
a
it
comedy
was-
sketch, you know, like what they called the kind of short guy, Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, you know, like the kind of comedy sketch, like the way your legs
Yeah.
go funny and then you just fall on your back. He just
He's
kept falling like
a
that.
Poor guy. So he was getting really frustrated, and like literally after about 2 minutes, he was like, "I don't want to do it anymore. I've had enough. I want to get off this." No, I'm not doing it. I was like, "Zach, just take it easy. Listen to me. Do this." "No, I'm not doing it. I want to get off. I want to get off." So he got quite frustrated quite early on. But shout out to one of the staff members there, a guy called, I think it was Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Rico. So Rico was one of the staff guys that kind of just helps people around and gives them some tips and advice on how to skate. And he was just on Zach. He was like, "Listen, my man, you come with me. I'm going to show you how to skate." And he really pushed him a lot. And Zach really took his advice, and he kept on trying and trying and trying. And eventually Zach got there. But, you know, I guess it's just being resilient, and like that's how Zach was. He was just being resilient. But without Rico's help, I don't think Zach would have pushed himself. You know, we did try to push him a little bit, but I think because like we're his parents, he knows that he can just be like angry with us. But if it's a stranger, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to try again then." And that guy Rico was quite nice and quite friendly as well. So he really pushed Zach a lot. So yeah, shout out to Rico. You are brilliant, and Zach really learned a lot from you.
In the end, he didn't even actually want to get off, which was so lovely. And if you would like to try out kind of a roller skating activity, they're not actually at Brent Cross anymore, but the actual company, if you check them out on Instagram, they're called the Artful Dodgems, and you can see they move around all the different places, set up camp, and I think they do camping where they bring the roller disco there. So check it out if that is something that you're interested in. We had a really, really nice time. So my best friend just got back from a little trip away with her family. She's got 2 kids and she was away for 3 weeks, and I was just catching up with her and asking her how it was. And she was just telling me how it was such a lovely trip away, although it was like the same routine as home in the sense that she's got little kids and, you know, the kind of bedtime routine and eating and laundry and all that kind of stuff. But she just really enjoyed the quality time spending with her 2 kids. And I was just like, and then she said, it's just such a shame that you kind of have to have the holidays to be able to have that time with your kids. And then I was like, yeah, you know, if you just like, I guess if you had the money, or no, I didn't say that. I said, it's living in this country, like, you know, because of the weather and everything. And she quite rightly said, no, it's because of work. Like, if you just had enough money and you didn't have to work, you would have all the time in the world to spend with your children and give them all that quality time. But it's just so sad that most of the year we're at work, the kids are at school, and you just, there's only little moments, I feel, that you can actually spend with your children and do stuff with them.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I might look at things maybe in a bit more of a different way to you. I think that although it might be sad that we don't like maximize on the amount of time we spend with our kids, I always look at the other side, like things could be a lot worse. We do have a lovely home and we have lovely kids that we do spend, I would say, a reasonable like amount of time with them. And I feel like, you know, we do go on holidays, we do stuff on the weekends, we do stuff in the evenings. Yeah, we don't spend all day with them, which would be nice, but would also be a bit hard at times, I'm sure. But I do feel like we do have those breakaways where we do get to spend time with them and enjoy them as well. And, you know, I mean, obviously we went traveling back in 2018 for a whole year. So we spent a whole year with them, which was amazing, which I don't think a lot of other people would have an opportunity to go and do. So I think I look at things maybe in a bit more of a different way. I love them to bits and I love to spend all the time in the world with them, but sometimes you can't, and that's just life.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we have been very lucky to have done that. And also, we're also very lucky that I work from home and you're really flexible. And I do feel for those people who still have to go into an office and have to kind of drop the kids off to, you know, nurseries and to stay with their parents to be looked after and stuff. And obviously our kids are a bit older, so we don't have to do that. And we are super flexible with them, which is really nice. But I have to say, I am dreading school starting in 2 weeks just because of all the pressures that come back with going back to school and all the clubs and, you know, making sure that they're doing their homework and, you know, their music lessons and etc. It's just, it can all just be quite demanding and takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, it can do, but I guess that's life, and I guess just that we have to just try to enjoy it as best we can, because you know for a fact that when we get older, we're going to look back and be like, God, if I could just have one more day with Emiliana playing the piano in the background, practicing with Zach on his gaming, saying 2 minutes more, mum, 2 minutes more, mum. You know, so you have to appreciate the times that we have with them.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. I mean, I am definitely haven't been a very soppy mum over the years. I think you're more of a soppy dad. But I've been feeling a bit sad recently because especially over the summer, they've just grown up even more over the last sort of 4 weeks. And I'm really missing their younger years, and it's just so sad you can't slow them down a bit and bottle those beautiful times. I mean, you were cracking me up the other day when we were brushing our teeth and we could hear this little girl's voice in one of the gardens out the window, and the look on your face was so funny.
My God, there was a girl about a couple of doors down in her back garden. I don't know who she was because I didn't know that there was like kids that young in that house, or even like, you know, a family that might come over to visit. But anyway, she was like, must have been about 2, and she had the most cutest, youngest voice ever. And she was having an argument with her sister. And I just stopped and I was like, oh my God, like I miss that young voice. I miss Emiliana speaking like that. It's just, and you know, I was like saying actually a few days ago that the only time I'll ever feel that happy is when our kids actually have, you know, babies themselves, which is obviously a long way off, but I think in terms of happiness, I think I've peaked when the kids were like, you know, younger. I don't think I'll ever be as happy in life as I was when the kids were like 2, 3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely the best years. And if you do have children that age, definitely enjoy every moment of it. But you know, when you were sort of like just your heart just looked like it was full hearing this cute little girl talking, it reminded me of Emiliana's first day at nursery and how like distraught you were.
Oh, I just wasn't ready for it. I just was not ready. So I don't know how, but I got the responsibility of taking Emiliana to her first day at nursery. And was it her first day?
I mean, I feel like I wouldn't have missed her first day.
Yeah,
so
maybe it wasn't the first day.
Maybe it was her first like full day.
Yeah. So I had to go take her, which means that she has to stay there all day long, and then we pick her up in the evening, right? Because I go to work, and you know, obviously you go to work.
Yeah, I do. We neither. Well, I wasn't working from home at that time, so.
I took her to nursery, and she kind of knew what was going on, and she just looked at me like, why are you leaving me here? And she was screaming at the top of her lungs, and I was just like, I'm so sorry, I'll be back later. And I tried to stay strong, and like, you know, with the staff that work there, it's all these like ladies, you know, like, don't worry, she's gonna be fine, just go, she's gonna be fine. I'm like, I can't leave her like this. So I like waited in the hallway like for 5 minutes. I like just hear her crying and crying and crying, and then I sat in the van outside for an hour. And I was in tears. I needed help. I was in tears.
So Ben
I called you. I was like, oh, I can't leave her at nursery.
So I'm literally at work and Ben's calling me and I'm thinking, okay, there must be a problem because he knows I'm at work and I've got clients to see, but he's called me. So I answered the phone and he sounded like, honestly, I felt like I thought maybe someone had passed away. Like that's how sad he sounded. And I was like, babe, like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And then he was like, yeah, Emiliana's crying. And I'm like, yeah, of course she's going to cry because she's like barely been at nursery for 2 minutes. I'll just go home. He's like, no, I'm just going to wait in the van until she's finished. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Benjamin? That completely defeats the point of dropping our child to nursery. If you're going to sit in the car, you may as well pick her up and take her home. He's like, I don't know. I'm having second thoughts. I don't know if we should do this. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe you shouldn't be at work and maybe I should do part-time. And I'm like, bro, just like
get a grip. Get a grip.
I mean, there's being soppy and there's being Ben. He's like another level, to a point where when Emiliana was a baby and I would like wash my hair, I'd have to dry it before going to sleep. He wouldn't let me dry my hair. He'd be like, oh my God, that's abuse. He would literally tell me that that's abuse to have the hairdryer on when the girl was sleeping.
But you bought the loudest hairdryer on purpose. I swear you did.
Lies.
It's the loudest hairdryer.
No, it was a normal...
It's like an airplane literally landing in our back garden.
No, oh my days.
It's loud, man. It's proper loud.
He was like, and you know, most people say like it's good to have noise when your children are sleeping, like get them used to it. Ben was the complete opposite. Like if I put that hairdryer on, the look I could get, if looks could kill, I'd literally be dead.
But you would bang doors and stuff. Come on, your baby's sleeping. You can't be banging doors. cuddles.
Oh God, honestly, Ben was literally the most overprotective dad. It's an absolute joke. And to be fair, to a degree, he still is. But you know what? You can't choose how they're going to be. And I guess I'd rather he was overprotective than underprotective. So now, obviously, we're in a different era with our children. They definitely are much older. And I just feel like it's so important to find these moments, like kind of moments to kind of cope and reframe when your kids are at a different age. So little ways to make ordinary moments like count. So those sort of conversations in the car, like chatting at dinner time and sort of having bedtime chats. I think that's definitely my thing with Emiliana. We tend to have bedtime chats, and those are really nice because it's like so funny. All day she won't talk to me. She'll come home, she'll be in her room, and then when we go to bed, she's like, "Oh, Mum, can you just stay like and talk to me for a little bit?"
Yeah.
I don't know whether she's trying to drag on the kind of night or
not going to bed kind of thing.
Yeah, but it is nice. I think, having those moments. And I think you have them, as well. Like me and Ben still like get into bed with both the kids, like individually, take turns and have a little. And they just try to keep us there for as long as possible.
Yeah.
But like Ben said, there'll be a time when obviously they're not here, so you just want to kind of hang out for as long as possible.
So no matter how tired I am, I will always get a little voice in my head going, you need to go and give Zach and Minnie a cuddle, even if you're really tired. So even after a long day's work, I can hear Zach in bed going, Dad, can I have a cuddle? Can I have a hug? And my legs are paining, my arms are paining. But you know what? I will always go and give them a cuddle because, like I say, one day it's going to stop and it's going to be sad. So try and enjoy those moments as much as you can, people.
And if you can, I would say, although we were kind of forced to only have time with one child this holiday, like one each for 4 days, because each of them went on camp separately, I would really like to keep that up, and I would encourage parents to find the time to spend with just one child. I know a lot of people actually who do that, even one parent going on holiday with just one child for like a weekend. I just think it's amazing what you can get out of your child on a one-to-one basis, and it really is quite a beautiful thing. This week, with Zach being away, Emiliana's been really wanting to watch horror movies, which is really funny. And the ones that she selected are literally ones from our childhood.
I mean, it wasn't really my childhood because I was a bit older.
Okay, not childhood, but yeah,
I was
younger
probably
years.
in my later teens and my early 20s maybe. But yeah, so Screaming Final Destination. I didn't even know that they're even out anymore. I thought like that was all done.
I can't believe they're still going, actually.
I know, it's mad. It is mad. So she wanted to watch Scream at first.
Yeah, because it had Jenna Ortega in it, who she really liked from Wednesday.
But then we started it and it was, well, first of all, we put it onto like the main page and it wasn't 18. We were like, you're 13. I don't know about this. So we started it to see how it would be. And it was just gory, blood, gruesome. We were like, nah, this is a bit too much for you. So we turned it off and then we tried Final Destination, which to be fair was still a bit much.
Yeah,
a lot, but it was a 15, so it wasn't as gory, I feel. Although the way these people die in it is just not nice at all.
And a lot of blood. But if you do kind of fancy watching something, getting a bit nostalgic, I would definitely say Final Destination. Check it out, and also Scream. In terms of song of the week, Ben, have you got one for us?
Shout out to Emiliana because actually this is her one. It's by a band called The Neighborhood, which I've never heard of, but the song is called You Get Me So High, and it's actually it's a good song. So check it out if you wanna have a little boogie.
And remember that you can find all our songs on the Spotify and Apple playlist. If you just type in the Flip Flop Family podcast song of the week, you can find out a whole selection of our songs from our 52 podcasts, can you believe? So yeah, make sure you have a listen. Dish of the week. I made something today which I think I will be tweaking because I think it can be even better, but I've been trying to kind of be a bit healthier and increasing my protein intake for me and for the family. So I made sweet potato protein chocolate brownies. Yes, you heard me right. Sweet potato. And I used Ben's chocolate protein, whey protein, and put the powder in it. And what did you think, Ben? I thought they were actually quite nice.
I thought they were great. I mean, when you have stuff like this, they're not going to taste as sweet as a normal brownie. However, you kind of have it and you don't feel as bloated as well. But they were great. I really enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to having some more tomorrow.
Yeah, and at least if there's protein in it and you know that the bulk of it is sweet potato, you just don't feel as bad, do you?
Exactly.
So check that out. It's on the Flip Flop Family kitchen page. Our sweet potato protein sweet potato protein brownies. Our savvy tip of the week is something we've touched on already in this podcast, which is Lime bikes. So Ben and Minnie were only on the bikes for like 15 minutes and it cost them about £5, which I think is quite expensive for a very, very short journey. But a savvy tip is if you want to ride Lime bikes around, make sure you pay for the unlimited 24-hour pass. It costs £10, and as long as each journey is no longer than 30 minutes, it won't cost you more than £10. So you can ride it around for 30 minutes. You do then need to kind of stop and lock it, and then you can get another bike out on another part of the journey for another 30 minutes. So as long as each journey does not exceed 30 minutes within a 24-hour period, it costs you £10. So that is our savvy tip of the week.